And we're back. Thank you for joining me at the Critics Clinic to get your prescription for all things movie and entertainment. As always, click below to subscribe, like, comment, do all those fun things. I'm here to talk to you about a movie called Black Bag. Before we go any further, if you don't want any spoilers, click to the time that I put on the screen. I'm not going to give a huge rundown or synopsis of the movie because it would spoil the movie, and it's one of those movies to where viewing it is more important than the plot. I've said this with a couple of movies because it's really about the experience, the anticipation of the movie, not even so much the plot. I know this sounds crazy, but bear with me. So I'll give you a quick little rundown. The movie is an espionage thriller starring Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender as the leads. They're actually a couple. They both work for this secret special ops agency developing this top secret product called Severus. It gets leaked, and they're trying to figure out who did it. There's this whole conglomerate of people. It's basically three couples that all know each other, and they're all in the same agency. And they're trying to figure out who did it. The issue is that Michael Fassbender is playing tricks on his mind because he's a top op agent. He's trying to figure out, can I trust my wife, Cate Blanchett, or is there more to this story? Can I trust her? Can I not trust her? Is my duty to my country? Is my duty to my marriage? So it's a very interesting psychological component of that. There's some other characters that play a role in that when I'll get to the cast and crew and my categories when I'm rating this movie. Overall, again, ultimately, he sides with his wife and uncovers the truth. They together form a dinner to where they uncover that it was actually Regé-Jean Page's character that betrayed them. They kill him, and they save the country, save the world maybe. I don't know. It doesn't go that far. That's the end of the movie. Again, I don't want to give a ton of plot away. I really want to go into the categories so we can delve into the plot a little bit and then decide for yourself when you go see it what you think. I would say for the cast and crew, this one is one of those movies where it's an ensemble cast. It's loaded. So obviously Michael Fassbender, we know him from the X-Men series, from a lot of different things. Cate Blanchett, she's a Hollywood star. We all know her. Pierce Brosnan had a bit of a cameo in there. Regé-Jean Page, you know him from Bridgerton, and he's been a lot of other things too. Dungeons and Dragons, all that kind of stuff. I would say from a cast and crew standpoint, they did great. The acting was phenomenal. I enjoyed it. I believed they were these espionage thrillers. And it's important to know, this movie is not like a James Bond, Mission Impossible type movie. It's not so much the act of them doing a service to get back some secret weapon. It really was the idea of their thought process and how they deduce figuring out which things are real and which things are fake. That's what I think made it very different from those types of espionage movies. And to me, it made it much smarter, much more psychological. You're trying to figure out who's lying to you, who's telling the truth. So I really enjoyed it from that standpoint. That's why I said it's hard to describe the plot without seeing the movie. But from a cast and crew standpoint, 2 out of 2, easy. From a plot standpoint, the plot, like I said, it's more of about decision-making that these espionage ops have. It's not so much them actually doing things. They weren't really jumping from buildings or going to the Louvre and stealing the Mona Lisa. It was nothing like that. It was more so them figuring out, how do I determine who's lying and who's telling the truth, and what are the things that I can do to elicit that from you? How can I pressure you? So it was a very interesting movie from that standpoint. I think it devolved a little bit in the end. Optically, it was kind of odd to have Cate Blanchett kill off the character they thought actually did it without any type of due process. That felt very odd because the whole time they were kind of living by their rule of this company, and all of a sudden they just take it into their own hands, go into the house and shoot the guy. I thought that was a little, again, optically it was just weird to see that happen. It was uncomfortable to watch, actually. So I would say from that standpoint, I'm going to give the plot a 1.5. From the set design, they were traveling all over the place, Zurich, London, all these types of places. I would say from that standpoint, easy a 2 out of 2. I felt like I was in it. I felt like I was traveling with them. They had all these beautiful homes. It was great. 2 out of 2. From a music standpoint, again, you always know how I feel about this when it comes to my categories. If it's not a musical, that's progressing the story through music. And if it's not horrible, I'm not really going to judge it. It's going to get a 2 out of 2. It had those types of songs. Sometimes you would expect Mission Impossible type songs, but also not always. And it was fine. It was a 2 out of 2 from that standpoint. I would say, overall, how did I enjoy the movie? So if we're going over the categories, for cast and crew, we have a 2. For the plot, we have a 1.5. For the set design and production, we have a 2. For the music, we have a 2. So we're at a 7.5. So we're doing pretty good. In terms of overall how I enjoyed the movie, I did enjoy it. Again, I went into it thinking it was going to be one of these espionage-type thriller movies. And like I said, it's more about the decision-making that these spies make to get to their conclusion about something, not them actually jumping off of mountains or murdering 1,000 people in one room by themselves. So I'd say from that standpoint, don't expect to see a Mission Impossible movie because that's not what it is. It's behind the scenes type movie. A smart movie. There were some lull periods, I would say, overall. But it didn't feel long. I just feel like there were some parts that were like them trying to develop the characters and it didn't really land. I would say overall, and again, the ending for me was not optically pleasing. I feel like the ending could have been they realized who was the culprit and actually took him in and he had due process. Like their boss Pierce Brosnan did. They didn't shoot him, so I thought that was a little off for me. I'd say overall for the movie, 1 out of 2. The overall prescription I give this movie is an 8.5 out of 10. It was a good movie. I would say go see it. It's not getting a lot of publicity right now, but it's one that you can easily go in. There's not going to be a crowd. You'll enjoy it. Definitely see it now. If you don't catch it in theaters, see it when it gets to streaming. It either way is fine. It's actually one of those movies where I could have seen it being released on like an Amazon Prime or a Netflix, and it would have done well on the small TV screen. But I enjoyed it at the theater. Let me know what you think below, and we'll go from there. Thanks.